In 10, 9.
David, stand
8,
by, about 30 out.
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Music, sound A up.
Right now at 6, a family in mourning.
He had a lot of potential about him. He was a great child.
A teen killed on his way to school. The message his loved ones hope to spread to others before they get behind the wheel.
Tonight, family members, students, and loved ones are remembering this Knightdale High School student. Good evening. I'm Sean Maroney.
And I'm Sharon Chaswell. Tyler Eason was on his way to school when he crossed the center line and hit a Raleigh Public Works vehicle head-on. It happened around 7:45 this morning on Forestville Road near Old Milburnie Road. WNCN's David Hurst has been following this story all day, and he talks with Tyler's loved ones. David.
Yeah, Sharon, Sean, Tyler Easton was driving here on Forestville Road this morning. He was going about 55 miles per hour in a 45-mile-per-hour zone. His family is now asking other teen drivers to be careful when they get behind the wheel.
Sound see.
And it was total disbelief.
This is 1 minute.
I screamed.
He was cut off. No boxes.
I wanted to tell them they were lying.
Tyler Easton's family says they were shocked when they got the unexpected phone call this morning. The junior at Knightdale High was on his way to school when he came around a curve, crossed into the other lane, and collided with another driver.
I'm going to remember his smile, his loving. He would hug me and tell me how much he loved me, and I'm going to remember that.
The other driver was sent to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. Eason died at the scene. His family says they've lived here for several decades and have seen many drivers get into crashes coming around that curve.
People fly in those curves. They do go 55 and more in those curves. They're easy to do. I'm not going to lie. I've done it myself.
They hope Tyler's death can serve as a reminder to other teens that they should always be careful out on these roads.
He was a good boy. He had a lot to offer, and he was cut off.
Mike, he's up.
Now, dozens of Tyler's classmates took to social media sites today to express their concern, shock, and even talk about how he'll be remembered. They also held a private ceremony today at Knightdale High this afternoon to remember his life. The family's also working on funeral arrangements. Meanwhile, I mentioned the concerns about curves in this area as well. We just had a neighbor come up to us and tell us he's seen 6 wrecks in the past 2 weeks on this road alone, just highlighting some of the concerns and the importance of driving safe. Reporting in Raleigh, David Hurst, WNCN News.
And as we told you, a City of Raleigh utility worker was the other driver who was expected to be okay. The city sent out a statement this afternoon saying thoughts are with the family of the victim. The driver will not be charged.
Tonight, we're learning more about the Superior Court judge accused of giving an FBI agent a bribe. This is the latest in a story we first told you about in breaking news alert from the WNCN News app. We have been digging into the case surrounding Judge Arnold Jones II. WNCN investigates Jonathan Rodriguez is live in Goldsboro tonight, where Judge Jones serves on the bench.
He's up. Ready, super in.
Well, Sharon, good evening. Judge Jones has served here since about 2008. Today, he found himself on the other side of the bench. He is facing 3 federal charges. He spent the day in federal court. The U.S. Attorney's Office says he paid an FBI agent to illegally obtain text messages.
Sound take.
Cameras aren't allowed inside the federal courthouse, and Judge Jones was able to sneak out before we could ask him any questions. We even tried a few addresses listed as his,
I don't have a TRT.
with no luck. But the real story is in the indictment. It says earlier in October, Judge Jones asked an FBI agent to get copies of text message conversations. It doesn't say who the phone numbers belong to, but it does say they were, quote, just for him, and that they involved family. In order for even an FBI agent to get access to someone's text messages, they have to have a warrant from a criminal investigation. But according to the indictment, Judge Jones asked the agent to do it under the table, quote, without drawing attention. He said, this involves family, and I don't want anyone to know. People in his district aren't happy about it.
That's abuse of power right there. You shouldn't use your power to do things because people fear you or have that respect for you because you're a judge.
After the FBI agent got the messages, investigators say Judge Jones met him in a car and offered to pay him with a couple cases of beer, but later gave him $100 in cash. Documents show Judge Jones assured the FBI agent this would never get out.
It gives you a lot of distrust in the justice system because it makes you feel like they'll go to any means if they want to arrest someone or put charges on someone. So yeah, it gives you an eerie feeling.
Like him, he's up.
So what happens next? Well, if Judge Jones is convicted, he could face a maximum of more than 30 years in federal prison. Of course, if he's to be found guilty, only two people can remove him from being a judge. That is the North Carolina Supreme Court and the legislator. And it would be up to the Judicial Standards Commission to do an investigation into that. We checked in with them just a couple of hours ago. They said they cannot comment whether they have started that investigation or not, but they said it is in the rules where they can actually suspend a judge temporarily in cases like this. Again, it's all up in the air. We are waiting to find that out. As soon as we get that information, we'll bring that to you right here on WNCN. Guys, back to you.
All right, it's an all clear at Fort Bragg tonight after officials were forced to close an access gate after construction crews found explosive devices. WNCN's Nate Rogers on base right now with the latest development. Nate.
Hey, Sean, authorities saying this could have been a very horrible situation after authorities found multiple artillery rounds buried in the ground just hours ago. Now, a Fort Bragg spokesperson says shortly after 1:30 this afternoon, construction crews found 4 artillery rounds near the I-295 construction corridor. This is between All-American and Yadkin. The explosive ordnance disposal team called the 155 mm artillery rounds highly explosive. Authorities believe they were in the ground anywhere from 10 to 20 years. Now, for decades, this has been an area for running and small unit training. But about a year and a half ago, construction work began to redevelop the I-295 corridor.
The good thing is these workers did the exact right thing. They came across what they thought was an explosive device. They stopped, backed away from the area, called law enforcement, and within 20 minutes, our guys were on the scene, making the area safe.
The area was shut down for nearly 2 hours as crews removed the devices. McCollum says luckily the rounds had shipping plugs in them, so they were relatively safe to take away. Now, at this time, officials are unsure how those devices actually got into the ground, but they don't believe there's any danger to the public. A reminder, though, if you happen to come across anything you believe may be an explosive device, officials saying do not touch it, call the police right away. In Fayetteville, Nate Rogers, WNCN News.
It's now been 4 straight days without any sunny skies in central North Carolina, and there's still some rain on the radar tonight. Chief Meteorologist Wes Hohenstein is watching that rain. He joins us now with the latest. Wes.
Hi, Sean. Good evening to you and to you at home. Today was 4. Tomorrow is kind of going to be 5. We'll finally start to see some changes. And today was a brighter cloudy day, if that makes us feel any better. And tonight we don't see a whole lot of rain on the radar. This showing up here right in the middle is actually ground clutter, not actually hitting the ground. No rain there. But we still have some sprinkles and some drizzle out there. And we still have some moisture that is kind of streaming into our area. That will stick around as we head into the overnight hours and for most of the day tomorrow. But as you look at the big picture, there's a lot less rain out there than there has been, right? Well, we're finally starting to see some changes in that overall pattern that had us stuck with high pressure to the north and low pressure to the south. Now that that's starting to break up, our clouds will break up and rain chances will go down. But tonight, still a couple of sprinkles here and there, nothing significant. Temperatures in the low 60s, same thing overnight. Some fog once again tomorrow morning with, again, a few sprinkles, but generally dry and 58 degrees. We still are waiting on 80s. Temperatures close to that later this week and a wet weekend. I'll update you on the timing of our rain in just a few minutes.
A student at Nightdale School of Collaborative Design is facing a list of charges tonight after school administrators say he had weapons on campus. Officials say 18-year-old Logan Fisher had an airsoft gun, a machete, and 2 pocket knives in his car. A tip led school officials to the search. No students were hurt, and school officials say he didn't threaten anyone specifically, only told classmates he had the weapons.
Right now, an active manhunt is underway for a couple accused of murder who may have come through the Fayetteville area. Right now, crews are focused on I-95 near Roanoke Rapids. Investigators say 34-year-old Lloyd Franklin and his girlfriend Jennifer Lanning were both involved in the murder of an elderly couple in Davidson County. That's near Charlotte. They were also connected to armed robberies in Aberdeen and Southern Pines. Investigators warn they're armed and dangerous. And a Fort Oaks woman is dead following a construction accident. Investigators say 74-year-old Charles Peterson was using a backhoe on his own property around 1:30 this afternoon. Neighbors tell us it rolled over him and that he likely also suffered some kind of medical emergency. And tonight, funeral arrangements are underway for the Fuquay man killed while riding his bike home from church. Troopers say 33-year-old Lee Moore was on Mount Pleasant Church Road around 7 o'clock last night, heading home from church when a car hit and killed him. Morrell's father says his son volunteered throughout the community, including his church, Mount Pleasant Presbyterian.
Sound C, White, ready, super.
Took care of me like a family.
Up there with Jesus.
Yeah.
Stand by Sharon's mic. Then out to camera 2. Watch your shot. Camera 2 on
The
Sean,
church
please.
was good for him. And he was baptized up there. And I know he's up there with Jesus.
Fundraiser for his family to help with
Sharon
funeral
can't hear in her
expenses.
ear.
The driver of the car was not charged.
Sean.
Although
Stand
there's
by
parental
VOA.
concern about traffic lights in front of a Durham high school where a student was struck earlier this week, WNCN witnessed students from Hillside High ignoring the lights.
up.
The crosswalk on
B,
Fayetteville
Bravo,
Street allows
sound
20
full.
seconds for pedestrians to cross. But our crew saw many students ignoring both the crosswalks and not bothering to push the button, which activates the crossing lights. Some students say there needs to be someone monitoring the intersection during busy hours.
Sound White, pretty super.
You gotta be,
super in.
like,
Stand by Sean's
looking
mic. Is Sharon okay now or no?
every direction when you're walking in the street like this.
And you think maybe it would
Is
be
Sharon
helpful
okay
to have
now,
a policeman
Wendy?
here during the
Thank
somebody
you.
crossing the kids?
Yes, in my opinion, yes.
Extra
I think this
safety.
needs a police officer just
Toggle
to
when
be
you
extra safety. You know.
Mike?
Earlier this
Ready
week,
to
Durham
key on
transportation officials told WNCN they would take a look at the timing of the lights by the school.
She's up.
Tonight,
Stand by.
flags are
VOD,
flying at half
Delta.
staff across the state to honor former Congressman Howard Coble.
VO's
The
up.
Republican from Greensboro spent 3 decades in the U.S. House
Tease
of
is
Representatives
next.
before
VO
retiring
for
this
Sharon
past
off the top
January
and
for
A.
health problems. His family says he died in the hospital last night. He was 84 years old. In an announcement today, Governor McCrory
Snipes
announced
in.
a memorial page in his honor. You can find a link right now at WNCN.com.
Mike Sharon
It's an
White.
upward trend,
please.
gaining
Stand by camera
national
1.
attention. Growth in downtown Raleigh. But city leaders say there's more to be
Camera
done.
1's
Next,
hot.
in a story
Stand
you'll
by Sean,
only see
camera
on
2.
WNCN, what city planners say downtown desperately needs. What's in
Mike
the
Sean.
works and the risk takers behind it
Two's
all.
up.
And months
Stand by
after her
VOC.
death, the controversy surrounding Bobby Christina Brown's death continues.
Video's up.
Her former
Stand by
nurse
break.
arrested at her Raleigh home. The new details about the investigation. You're watching WNCN News at 6.
In 3, 2, 1, 2:35. Will you let them know that Carly will be behind them in the monitor eventually? Thank you. Here we go. In 7, 6, and toggle, please. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Mic them both. Up.
Raleigh rises in the
Stand by
rankings.
camera
According
1.
to the recruiting website Glassdoor, Raleigh is the #1 best place for jobs. Forbes says Raleigh is #2 for business and careers. And the Financial Times ranks Raleigh the #1 mid-sized American city of the future.
they're up.
And that's our focus tonight,
Stand
the
by,
future
router
of
2
downtown
behind them
Raleigh.
for Carly.
It's a story you'll only see on WNCN. Downtown is one of the fastest growing regions in the country when it comes to population growth, housing, and also job creation.
WNCN's Carly
hot.
Griffith is
Stand by,
live at
router
downtown
2
Raleigh
full.
tonight with what we've seen and, more importantly, what we can expect. Carly?
She's up.
Yes, Sean, Sharon, just
Stand by.
5 years
Package
ago,
and C
this
coming
area was struggling, but with the help of private and public effort like this brand new Charter Square building behind me, downtown is rapidly becoming the heart of the capital city.
Sound C, take. This is 3:20.
I think it's a great time to be in downtown Raleigh to
Standard
watch
out.
the exciting new changes that come every single year.
You look on any given street, you've got new
Sean and
apartment
Sharon
buildings,
are
new
clear
office
for now.
buildings.
Carly's going to toss back to the west of the weather center.
Seeing stores open their doors that we never would have expected before.
You see new startups everywhere.
Downtown Raleigh is surging. Currently one of the fastest growing areas in the country, it has a lot to boast about. 80 stores, 129 restaurants, over 1,100 hotel rooms. And it's home to more than 7,800 people and nearly 55,000 workers. Something the Downtown Raleigh Alliance and its development manager Bill King is proud of.
This is really new for the Triangle, where now we're trying to be an urban center. So this is going to give us an urban core that we've never really had before.
13 construction projects finished up this year. 13 more are underway, and another 7 have recently been announced. The investments, including the Edison Tower and Charter Square North, will bring an additional 300 hotel rooms, 2,700 living units, and 2 million square feet of office space in the next several years.
A lot of the development we're seeing down here is led by the private sector. These are private developers who see the opportunity and are building it. So our market is hot enough that it doesn't always just have to be public investment.
The opportunity is based on movement, a flocking to the city's center that's led by a younger generation of risk takers. The organization Generation Opportunity, which advocates for issues that matter to millennials, has been active in downtown's recent boom.
Business owners downtown, they are younger generation business owners. You look at food truck owners, you look at restaurant owners, bar owners, you look, all across Glenwood South. It's younger generation individuals starting up these businesses.
Individuals like Zach Medford. He owns 3 bars on Fayetteville Street.
When we first opened, there was pretty much nobody else on Fayetteville Street. There was only a couple other bars and restaurants nearby. Most people were down in Glenwood South or North Raleigh, but we decided that we really want to see what downtown was going to become.
Medford and other millennials are the pulse of downtown, creating a more urban and vibrant environment.
We see lots and lots of young professionals, especially with the new tech jobs coming in.
Another reason why plans are focusing on walkability. City developers want folks to park their car and leave it for days. They're planning more greenways, bike paths, and even an entirely new entertainment complex right next to the convention center.
There's some large parcels of land that could be used for a sort of entertainment district or a new cultural hub.
Plans for the future of downtown Raleigh and what it could be are numerous and expansive, but plans change, especially depending on the future growth of the area in the next couple of years and whether or not everybody else jumps on the downtown Raleigh bandwagon.
So affordability is a challenge. We need to make sure we have some affordable housing. We have an enormous number of service workers down here.
Another issue is livability, not to mention the glaring absence of a grocery store.
It's usually the last part, and it responds to when people are here.
And there will be. The boom we're witnessing in downtown will go down in Raleigh's history.
We're just at the beginning of a dramatic change for this downtown.
In downtown Raleigh, Carla
take my cue. God bless it.
Now, another attractive element of downtown is all the outdoor space, outdoor dining space, and patio space that we can enjoy all the nice weather that Raleigh has to offer. And of course, it was a little warmer today, so you actually could get out there and enjoy it. Hopefully, we'll have that going forward. Chief Meteorologist Wes Hohenstein hopefully has some good news for us. Wes.
Ready, 5.
Hey, Carly, good evening to you. This has not been the perfect Convention and Visitors Bureau week. We had that back in October, didn't we? But we do have some changes that I think everyone will like later this week. Tonight, there's a lot less green on the radar, but still some sprinkles out there today. And as you take a look, we'll continue to see a few of those sprinkles as we head into the overnight hours. As Carly mentioned, it was a little warmer today. It was a little brighter. Temperatures actually got up to 70 today. And 4 days into the month of November, that's the warmest day we've had so far this month. Out there right now, temperatures generally in the mid to upper 60s. And going forward tonight, like the last few nights, the clouds are going to be thick and they're going to kind of lock our temperatures in. So there's your thick cloud cover. Temperatures might drop to about 63 at 8, 62 at 10, staying in the low 60s overnight. And you're out the door tomorrow with fog and temperatures about 60 degrees. Now, in the next couple of nights, we're going to see some clearing overnight. And when it gets clear overnight, all the heat during the day escapes right back in the atmosphere, and it cools off at night. But with the clouds, we don't cool off. And if you're thinking to yourself, man, this is the worst thing ever, 4 days of cloud cover, I want to show you somewhere that might be considered worse. They have cloud cover in Big Sky, Montana right now, but they've also received some 20 inches of snow this week up the Big Sky Resort. And temperatures are in the mid-30s. I won't even tell you what the wind chill is. So just remember, it could be colder or worse, depending on what you like. So over the last few days, we've been watching high pressure to our north, low pressure to our south. Remember, they've been working with each other to kind of lock our weather to what it has been. Of course, we've had the mountains to the west, so nothing has really moved. Well, now both of these systems are finally starting to move, so our weather will finally start to change. Just with a little bit of sunshine tomorrow, and then a little more as we head into Friday. But Friday will also be noticeably warmer as temperatures get close to 80 degrees. Then on Saturday, we're right back to cloudy and wet weather. Rain looks likely throughout a good portion of